Here on a Wednesday afternoon at GoPowerCat.com, part of the 24/7 Sports Network. I'm Ryan Wallace, joined by the newest addition to the 2021 class, Omar Daniels, down in Georgia. Omar, what does it feel like to have me say that you're the newest member of the K-State Wildcats?
It feels good.
Is there anything about the Wildcats that initially stood out? I mean, from the moment you were offered, is there anything that's kind of carried through up until today that really led you to making this decision?
It all started with the coaching staff, and most definitely Coach Malone getting close with me and being real from the jump stood out to me from day one.
What is it about Coach Malone that's different than other recruiters that you talk to? Because he's been a huge factor in K-State recruiting since he came on with Coach Kleiman a year ago.
He stayed in touch with me every day. Like first day, they offered me and stuff. Even before that, he was already calling me, building a relationship, and telling me this and that and how I could affect the program. So that's how he stood out.
Now, I know when you and I have spoken in the past, you'd mentioned that there are already some guys at K-State that you know about, maybe you formed a relationship with, T. Denson, TJ Smith. What did those guys tell you about K-State? Because I would imagine that you kind of reached out to them and said, hey, Georgia kid to Georgia kid, what's it been like up there, since they got on campus in January?
They was telling me Coach Malone was good coaching his whole coaching staff, and it's cool to be around. They don't push you to your limits, and they care about great education.
With Kansas State being in the Big 12, through your research as a corner, how much did it excite you to have the ability to possibly go up against all those air raid, high passing teams and opponents?
Be in the Big 12, I think like they like to throw the ball a lot, so it gives you a chance to make plays when you have a chance to go make that play.
Now you're listed, I think we list you only at like 180 pounds, right? So you're a thinner cornerback, but you seem like you've got real range, long arms. And the one thing I noticed that jumps out to me on tape is that you really can come up and tackle in the open field. Where does that come from? And do you consider yourself, a run stopper as a cornerback?
Coach for life, my defensive back coach at my school, he used to have us on that tackling dummy almost every day.
And so you would say, for as good as your cover skills are, you would say that you're equally good as a tackler as well?
Yes, sir.
As a cornerback, are there any players, maybe they're NFL, college guys that you kind of model your game after, guys that you look up to and try and, take bits of their game and put it in yours on Friday nights?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I like watching Jalen Ramsey, Tyrann Mathieu, Darius Slay, and Marshawn Lattimore.
What is it necessarily about those guys that intrigues you when you watch them on Sundays? Anything in particular about that group?
Yes, sir. They all have high confidence. They play physical and fast, and they're going to be all up in your face all game.
Let's talk about confidence for a second, because I think I was going back. I think you are now the 8th straight I should say this. You have become now part of the 8th straight class that K-State will have had with at least one Georgia commit in it. And if there's one thing that I've noticed over those 8 classes with these Georgia guys, from Duke Shelley, Justin Hughes, Elijah Sullivan, and you mentioned T. Denson and TJ Smith, there is an attitude. There's kind of a swagger that comes from the Peach State. Is that just natural with you guys? Do you get that from going up against other Georgia guys? I mean, what is it about that swagger that Georgia has?
I think it's natural. We some true ballers down here in Georgia.
Is it does that competitiveness, is that something that is within you, or is that something that you pick up over years and years of playing football?
That's something that's in me. I feel I always been ready to compete, and it just built more up as I started playing football.
Now, you mentioned, I think that Colorado was obviously involved with you up until the end. I think Memphis was in there. Were there any other schools that were maybe kind of poking around, maybe hadn't offered yet, but you were starting to get some interest from before you decided to pull the trigger?
No, sir, not really. But schools that were offered probably was like Liberty, Buffalo, Arkansas State, Coastal Carolina, schools like that.
What did your family think and your friends when you said, "Yeah, I'm going to head over to Kansas State"? Do they know a lot about it? Have you had to kind of educate them on the Wildcats at all?
Yes, sir. Like except me and my friend Jaheim Ward, me and him been done got real close talking about the whole process. But he knew about it. But my mom and them, I had to educate them some, but they loving it now.
Now you committed, I think, on Sunday,
Yes.
and then kind of announced on Wednesday. Walk me through that conversation where you decided to commit. Did you call the coaches? How did that all play out?
First I decided on that Sunday. Then I sent the text to the coaching group chat. Then I text Coach Kleiman. I was telling him I got a commitment coming this week. I ain't telling him which day.
What was Coach Kleiman's reaction when you told him that you had a commitment coming his way?
He was saying he was ready for me, ready to get on the phone. Me and my mom, we got on the phone yesterday night, and she liked it and loved it.
Coach Malone, has he mentioned at all maybe how they want to use you? Has he talked at all about maybe even the number of cornerbacks that he's going to take in this 2021 class?
Um, yes, sir. He was telling me like they got after this season, you have 3 seniors leaving, so I might have a chance to play early and be an impact. Just come in and work hard.
Do you see yourself as a guy that can be flexible? You know, maybe you're a boundary guy. You can play zone, can play man. Do you feel like you're a well-versed cornerback?
Yes, sir. I feel like wherever they need me, I can play at any time.
Well, one more thing that interests me, and you mentioned that you have friends that you talk about the recruiting process with. You committed today, and a couple hours later, K-State actually had a decommitment. So recruiting is always fluid. Are there already some guys that you plan on reaching out to and maybe try and get them to join K-State with you?
No, sir, not right now, not yet.
Do you have any buddies maybe from the 2021, 2022 classes that maybe are at the top of your mind whenever that time does come for you to reach out to some guys?
Yes, sir. I want to try to get them to get hit my cousin Taj Sanders, a receiver in the 22 class, and a boy named DJ Goodwin from Lee County is also another receiver.
Well, real quick before we wrap things up, I wanted to kind of make this fun as well. Um, First off, just when it comes to your commitment, before we started this recording, you had mentioned that your phone was really blowing up. The Kansas State fans, have you already gotten a taste of just how rabid they are?
Yes, sir. They lit. I love it.
How many times does your phone go off? Is this one of those days where you just got to mute it?
I ain't muting none. I love the energy the K State family giving me.
Let's talk about numbers. Do you have a number that I think you're 9 at Colquitt County. Is that a number that you'd like to keep? And what's the draw about number 9, man? Why do you wear that?
They just gave it to me. Ever since then, I just liked it. I fell in love with it. It started then. At first I didn't like. I was like, man, how you gonna give me number 9? But then I saw Grant Delpit wear it, and I started liking it. So yes, sir, I would like to keep number 9 when I get to K State.
What about you got any superstitions? You got any music that you listen to before games? I mean, tell fans a little bit, behind the scenes of Omar Daniels. What kind of gets you ready on a Friday night?
First of all, it started out with my teammates and coaching. We get a little speech in, then I put in my headphones, listen to some NBA YoungBoy to get me pumped up before the game.
What about favorite foods? Is there anything that maybe you can try and find in the Little Apple whenever you do get a chance to visit Manhattan, or maybe something that you can kind of cook up for the rest of the guys that don't have the Georgia Southern background?
I love seafood. I got to get some of that Coach Malone crawfish he be talking about all the time.
You've seen him post those pictures then, right? He seems like
Yeah.
he knows all about the shrimp boils and all that stuff. So yeah, if you get an invite, make sure you let me know because I'd like to drive down to Manhattan and have some of that too. Um,
Yes, sir.
I guess last but not least, just if you wouldn't mind kind of shedding some light on was this the ideal recruitment for you? I mean, obviously you're happy with being at Kansas State, but how did the whole COVID-19 thing impact you? Did you want to make a decision this early, or had you maybe planned to go a little bit deeper into the summer with all of this?
See, at first, COVID messed me up. I feel like I would have had better stuff. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Kansas State. I'm glad where I'm at, but I feel like I would have had even more stuff that I would have got to have my spring football. So COVID messed some stuff up. But my plan was to go later on, like late June, early July.
But in a way, maybe Kansas State is the real winner here because, like you said, maybe without COVID, maybe you would have blown up even more, and instead you land with Kansas State. Very, very happy. I'm sure Chris Kleiman is to have you as part of that class, and we really look forward to covering you at Go PowerCat over the next several years. So one more thing, you mentioned even before your commitment that you had plans to try and get up to Kansas State when all these restrictions lift. Is that still the case? You'd still like to get up there this summer just to kind of see the campus for yourself?
Yes, sir, most definitely.
All right, good deal. Well, once again, we'd like to thank Omar Daniels for hanging out with us with this Zoom call, the new Zoom commitment call. How are you going to celebrate tonight, man? Anything special with you and your family?
Probably when my mom get home, but I'm still working. Going to get a workout in at 6.
All right. Well, we'll let you get to that workout. For everybody at gopowercat.com, thanks a lot, Omar, and we'll see you on the next Zoom commitment call.
Yes, sir. Go Cats.